except this mic. Hmm. Ooh, what's going on with my reception? Connection is unstable. Hey, as we get set up, so I got to get my camera just right because you can't have it crooked because I got to look at those parallel lines on my board and my camera and make sure everything's right. Hey, Rob, what's going on, man? Hey, what we're going to do today is I've taken a small section out of our leadership development program, also known as the Green Beret Leadership Development Program, where you can 10x your team. See, I've written on my board. I love my board. Uh, it's so much better than a whiteboard, by the way, because a whiteboard reflects. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go through one section. I'm going to teach you five tenets of great leadership. So I pulled out this section out of our Green Beret Leadership Program. I just want you to get something from this because I think it's going to be of great value for you going forward. And it's something that you can start using right away. So I've got my slide deck. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that up. Got it. Okay. Thank you very much for all these. Yes. Yes, sorry about this. I didn't know that well, it may not let me share today. So let's see. We'll try it again. Because present slides. And I need to upload a file. Well, I really apologize for this because, Zoom, you share a screen, it just pops right up. This is taking a little bit longer, but give me 1 minute and we will have it up and running while it's uploading. So while it's uploading, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and tell you what's going on so we can get through this because I appreciate those of you who could join us. So this is, like I said, this is a section out of the Green Beret Leadership Program. And our program outcome is self-awareness, team building, problem solving, developing the plan, and a mindset for continuous improvement. And where this section, these 5 tenets of great leadership fall under stage 1, and we call that start at the beginning. Know yourself and build your team, because you got to start with yourself and you got to understand who you are in order to lead. And let's see if it's up yet. Add to stage. There we go. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chrome. And so what you're going to learn in this, if you were going through this program, what you would learn is you're going to understand how to lead yourself. You're going to understand that you get to choose how you show up. You get to choose what you do. You get to choose who you work with. You get to choose your team. You get to choose what you do. No one can make you do that. And that's a key element. And the outcome of this stage is you know who you are and how to build your team. And the results are you are confident that you can create and lead a team. So let's see what happens if I make this bigger. Oh, there we go. All right. Now I can actually read it without squinting. So what a great leader. Now, well, let me tell you a little something that I truly believe is that a great leader can take a poor team and make them a good team. A great leader can take a good team and make them a great team. But a poor manager only destroys a good team. A good team can survive poor management. Notice I didn't say poor leadership because there's in my book, in my definition, there's no such thing as bad leaders, toxic leaders, poor leaders. You're either a leader or you're not. It's a black and white thing for me. There's no gray areas. There's no such thing as toxic leadership. There's toxic people who are in leadership positions. That's how I define it. So a great leader can take an organization, whether it's a broken, dysfunctional team, and make them a great team, or a good team, a highly functioning team, and make them an even better team. That's what that combination does. And that is extremely powerful. And that's what great leaders do. And these 5 tenets I'm going to show you are going to enable you to start to become that great leader. Let's see. All right, where's it? There it is. So I love this quote from Quincy Adams. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. So let's think about that. Well, how do you become a leader? What is a leader's job? A leader's job is to set the vision and enroll the team on the vision. A leader is part of the team. They're not separate from the team, telling the team what to do. They're part of the team, but their job is to set the conditions for the team. Their job is to say, this is what we're going to do. I see us being able to do this and create this, and then going to the team and getting the team to buy into it, to enroll in that vision. That's what leaders do. They inspire others, even when they're not there, to perform at the highest level. So, tenet number 1, be decisive. And when I say that, what I mean is in the moment that you make the decision, you have to make a decision. You don't wishy-washy about it. You make the decision, best decision you can make in the moment that you make it with the information and the time available you have. That's being decisive. And this Teddy Roosevelt quote is really awesome. At any moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing. Think about that. You know, there's a time and a place for every decision to be made. Sometimes that decision is to not make a decision because you decide, hey, I want to learn, get more information. I want to do more. I want to have more practice. I want to set more things up. But that's still a decision. Making the decision not to decide is still a decision. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand that if I don't make a decision, that does not make you indecisive. I am deciding not to decide, and that is just as important as making the decision. Now, let's talk about what decisiveness means. What decisiveness means is when I make this decision, I am confident in who I am. I believe that I am making the best decision I can make in the moment I make this decision with the information I have, and I move out smartly. And when I mean move out smartly, it's like, okay, guys, let's go do this. It's not, maybe I think, probably ought to think about going and doing this. You know what happens when you have that kind of when you are that kind of a leader and you say that to your team? Guess where their confidence goes? Right down below, right? You as a leader need to be decisive. And that decisiveness sets the example for the team and gives the team the confidence because you have confidence in yourself and you set that example for the team and give them the confidence to perform also. Oops, I keep trying to click the wrong button. There we go. The next tenet, be the standard bearer. And what I mean by that is as the leader, part of your job is to set the culture. Set the culture, and I'm going to talk about that again here in a minute. But the culture comes from the standards that you set. Meaning, if everybody's supposed to be at work at 7:30, you don't stroll in at 8:30. If everybody is wearing a red t-shirt, you say it's Red T-shirt Tuesday, and you decide I'm not going to wear a red t-shirt because that's stupid. If the quality of work that you require is at this level, but yet you half-ass everything and you come in at the 50% solution and you're like, that's good enough. What do you think the team's going to do? Do you think the team's going to be willing to put forth the extra effort to get to 100% solution, to get to that best outcome? If you are, it's all right, that's good enough, and you kind of fling it like that, do you really think they are going to do that? So your job as the leader is to be that standard bearer. If you are one of those persons who screws around, because I've known a couple of people that do this, screw around during the day, right? Don't really get focused, don't do anything. And then you work late into the night, and maybe you're a night owl. What kind of example is that setting for the team? If you're strolling into the office about 10 o'clock and going home at 3 o'clock, what example is that setting for your team? Even if, and here's a great one, because I have a client who went through this issue. Even if you go home and start working again, guess what? That doesn't show a standard of performance in the office. If your team wears a uniform, if you got polos or certain kind of uniform or safety wear, if you're a construction company and you have safety wear or a manufacturer that requires OSHA standards safety, and every time that you go out on the floor, you don't put on safety goggles and a hard hat, what kind of example does that show to people? Shows that that's not important to you as the leader, because you as the leader set that standard and you demonstrate the importance of that standard because you follow that standard. It's not a do as I say, not as I do. Those kind of leadership role or agreements or relationships never work. There I go, clicking the wrong thing again. And establishing the culture. And the reason I put establishing the culture right after being the standard bearer is because the standards that you create as a leader, show up at 7:30, we're going to do this level of work. We're going to work together as a team. Every Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock, we're going to shut it down so everybody can get a couple extra hours with their family or whatever those things may be. Those are the standards that help to establish the culture. Now, another key element of the culture is the values. What values do you hold and establish as the standards for the organization? Because values are the foundation of the company's culture. And culture is what you do. I think it was Peter Drucker who said, culture eats strategy for lunch. And what that means is I can create the best plan, the greatest plan, because I'm a planner. I could do that. I could create this unbelievable plan that is going to be so successful and so great. But if we don't have a culture that follows the plan, that believes in the plan, or if our culture is, that's a great plan, we're just going to go here and do whatever we do. We're going to continue doing what we do. We've been doing it forever. Why would we change what we're doing? Because we've always done it this way. Why do I change? So that plan is stupid. Why are you wasting your time, boss? That's what it means by culture eat strategy for lunch. Because if your culture doesn't accept change, doesn't understand change, doesn't know how to work together as an organization, you don't know what teamwork is. It's every man for himself because I get a bonus if I make more sales. So I'm gonna knock down the other guy to get another sale and win that bonus. That's the culture you're creating. So we have to be aware of it, because if you're not aware of it and you're not intentional in your culture that you create, it's still going to be there. There will be a culture, whether you want there to be one or not, whether it's one that you create or one that creates itself. Culture is going to happen. And it's up to you as the leader to create that culture and be aware of that culture. Now, this fourth tenet was taught to me when I was a young cadet at Texas A&M. It was Sergeant First Class Leininger. Had a huge impression on me as a young cadet. And he taught me this principle, this tenet of a leadership: mission first, people always. Now, what does that mean? Mission first. Let's talk about that. What that means. Mission first means we have to get the job done. That's number one. We got to get the job done. We're here to get a job done. That's the mission. We're going to do that first and foremost. But I can't do the mission unless I have people. That's why it's mission first, people always. Mission first, people always. Because how do I expect to accomplish the mission, get the job done, if I don't have people to help me get the job done? Right? I mean, mission first, people always. If it's just me, guess what? Then I can only do so much. But if I've got a team that's focused on the mission, then we can get the job done. That's what mission first, people always means. If I don't have a mission, then why do I have people? What are the people doing here if there's not a mission to put them together? There is no tribe without a purpose. That's why we call our business Tribe and Purpose, because the tribe, the people, the organization, the group, the team, it is there for a common purpose, a common mission. But we also cannot accomplish that mission if we don't have the people. So we have to take care of the people. How do we take care of the people? What do I mean by that? Well, you have to be aware of it. What am I doing to them? What am I putting them through? Have we been going 7 days a week for the last 2 or 3 weeks, or even the last week, working on a proposal, this big proposal that's really important to the success of the company? And we've been going and going, pushing everybody really hard, going really far, working long hours. Well, I'm wearing my people out. I'm pushing them beyond what I normally should be pushing them. So how do I take care of them? What can I do to take care of them? Maybe I give them some time off. Maybe I give them some gift certificates. Maybe we just slow that down for the next 2 weeks, and we just kind of make things just survivable for another week or so after we've been running hard, so that everybody can recover. Because I don't want to burn out my team. I don't want to crush them and keep putting rocks in the rucksack and break them down so that they can no longer perform. Because we all can have a capacity that we can go to. And once we hit that limit, then our performance drops off. So if you want your team to perform at the highest level, then that's what you need to do. You need to make sure you're taking care of your people always. Now, got a little font mess up on this one. Now, this one, tenet number 5, is the trust. Trust yourself. I call it the trust triad. So let's talk about the trust triad. First, you have to trust yourself. I have to believe, just like I was talking about with decisiveness, I have to believe that the decision I make in the moment I make them is the best decisions I can make at that moment with the information I have. I believe it is the right decision, the most correct, the best, when I make that decision. I trust myself in that aspect. Second leg of this trust triad is that I trust my team. I trust them to do the job I hired them to do. I trust them to do the job that I'm paying them to do. Otherwise, why do I have them there? Why are these people there if I don't trust them to do their job? I'm always amazed at organizations that the boss does not trust the team to do the job, and the boss becomes this gate to keep anything from happening in any progress. Micromanager is another way of putting it, because he doesn't trust the team to do the job that he hired them to do. And I always ask him, then why are you paying those people? Because if you don't trust them to do the job that you hired them to do, then why are they there? Just because you want to make a donation? If you want to make a donation to society, then go down to a nice soup kitchen or some other nonprofit and make a donation. If you're paying somebody to do a job, let them do their job. And if they can't do their job, then get somebody else that can. And if you don't trust them to do their job, then either they're the wrong person or you need to change your attitude, because you have to trust your team to perform. And when these two are in place, I trust myself and I trust my team, then leg number 3 of the triad comes into play. And that is the team trusts the leader. The team trusts you to do your job. They trust and believe that every decision that you make has the best interest of the team involved. Not that you're going to get a promotion because you've made this decision so that you're going to look really good, or you're going to get a bigger bonus, or the company's going to sell for a higher dollar. That's not going to happen. The trust triad requires you to trust yourself, trust your team to perform, and the team will trust you. That's what the trust triad will do. And that is the foundation of all 5 tenets. Because without trust, you can't be decisive. You can't be a standard bearer. You can't establish a culture. And mission first, people always. If you don't trust your people, how can you think of them in that sense of mission first, people always? So here we go. Here's all 5 tenets. If you're taking notes, be decisive, be the standard bearer, establish a culture of success and innovation in your team. Mission first, people always think about what's the job that we have to accomplish and how do I take care of my people at the same time. And finally, none of those tenets, those other 4 tenets, work unless there is trust involved. And the trust triad: trust myself, trust my team to perform, and my team trusts me. So if you want to learn more, you want to build your team up, you want to 10x your team, you want to build better humans in your team, you want to have better humans in your team, because better humans create better performance, because they're happier, they're involved, they're engaged. Maslow's hierarchy of needs tells us about wanting people, how we as human beings want to feel engaged. We want to feel like we're part of an organization, part of something larger than us. We also want to get recognition for the job that we're doing. So these things have to be in place. And when you enroll in the Green Beret Leadership Program, you will learn how to do that for your team. You can do that for your team. Build leaders within your team. Build high performers within your team. That's what 10x your team means. You are going to have a team of high performers, a team of leaders, and the team of leaders set you up for success, because leaders identify problems, take ownership of problems, and solve them. They work to solve them. They take the initiative by themselves to fix things. And when you enable your team, when you have them go through the Green Beret Leadership Program and get a better understanding of how to lead, starting with themselves, then think of the performance you're going to get out of them. And not only that, here's a big one that a lot of people take for granted. Remember, earlier I talked about putting the rocks in the rucksack. You know that one guy in your company that's like, man, you just keep throwing things in his rucksack, keep giving him more to do, more to do. A guy named Terry, baby. How do you take care of him? What's going on with him when he burns out? Who's going to help? Who's going to show up and make sure that somebody else is carrying the load? Don't burn out your people. Mission first, people always, right? But if you 10x your team, then you can 10x your business, 10x your revenue. And they will all be high performers and they will all be excited to be there, not just going through the motion. So let's see here. Now, how do I get out of this? Present. Slides. Nope, don't want to do that anymore. Hi, chat. Exit full screen. Maybe that's where I do it. All right. Remove. There we go. All right. Yeah, you can tell I haven't been on StreamYard a little as much. Now, just to review, 5 tenets. Be decisive. Establish the culture. Be the standard bearer. Be the standard bearer. Establish the culture. Mission first, people always. And trust is key for all of it. And there's your little thumbs up. Thank you very much, computer, for giving us those thumbs up. And I think there's probably some way of giving fireworks too. Think about those things. Trust is a key aspect to being successful. And the trust triad: trust yourself, trust your team to do their job, and your team trusts you. So if you want to learn more, go to GBLP. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Go to 10x your team. There we go. If I read my own notes, go to 10xyourteam.net/GBLP. Got some great information for you there. This program will help you and your business grow and have more success. Thanks again for joining us today.